Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and choosing to spend your evening with us. We will begin the program proper at exactly 6:05 p.m. So while waiting, we want to get to know you guys. Please type in the chat box your current job or major if you are a student and where you're watching this from. Okay, let me see if we have some response in the chat box. While we're waiting for other participants, I'm encouraged you to type in the chat box your response. Again, it's if you are, we want to know your job or your major if you're a student or your career path if you are a professional. And okay, come on, guys. I need some validation here. I need to talk it to anyone. So let me just begin. Okay, so I'm Felz Etorne. I'm a creative entrepreneur and I'm from Las Piñas. I am the founder of Metacognia. Okay, so we have a response from Christian, who is in fact one of our speakers. He's from Las Piñas as well. Who else? Jonathan from Paco, Manila. Come on, guys. How about you who are here in the chat box? How about you, Det? Who else? Carmela. Who else do we have here? Joelyn. So we
Putting
want
me
to
on the
find out
spot,
more
Fel.
about
Charot.
you.
Joke lang. Hi, everyone.
Okay.
I'm Jolene.
Hello.
And yeah, I'm a
Wow.
quality assurance specialist from Google Operations Center.
All right. Thank you so much, Joey. Actually, Joey is my friend. All right. We also have here Naisan Albaitar and Jackie Lu Cabral at gmail.com. Okay. How about the others? We want to hear from the others. Okay. Let me just check the comment box on Facebook as well while we're waiting for more participants.
Hi, Joey. Long time no see.
Oo nga eh. Grabe. Dito tayo magkikita, no?
Oo nga eh.
Yeah. Hold on. I think there's something wrong with the live stream. We'll be starting in a minute. Thank you, Joey, for interacting. And it's
You're
nice to see
welcome.
you on Zoom again.
Yeah, and I don't have my camera on kasi
It's all
medyo
right.
madilim dito.
Most of you guys are ano naman, have their cameras off. Okay, it's 6:05 in the evening now. So, good evening again, everyone, and to those who have just logged in, welcome to Usapang Digital Enlivening online marketing through creative writing. So, my name is Felz Etorne once again of Metacognia, and I will be your host for this evening. I'm a creative entrepreneur and founder of Metacognia. Metacognia is a creative social enterprise that specializes in publishing and provides a platform for creatives and freelancers. All right, so let's begin. Let me tell you a little bit of a background or overview of our of what we're gonna cover this evening. Basically, we will find out the current position of creative writing in business marketing. Then we will also learn some tricks or tips on using creative writing strategies for online marketing. And finally, we will also cover what makes up a conversion focused copywriting for any kind of industry. All right. I'm excited for this. How about you guys? You may let me know on the chat box as well. Let's have some engagement here. All right. So if in case you already want to ask a question in the middle and at the end of each presentation, please feel free to type in the chat box or here on Zoom in the comment section or in the Facebook page in the comment section. By the way, if you want to watch on Facebook, please go to the page of Pesopod itself so that we can see your comments or questions. All right, all right. So I think I shouldn't let you wait any longer, and we'll introduce. We'll now go to our first topic and speaker. Hold on, my screen is a mishmash. All right. So for our first keynote speaker, he actually organized and hosted all the other previous webinars on this channel. But for tonight, for the first time ever, he will be our keynote speaker for the first topic to share with us his skills and insights in creative writing and online marketing. So he is a financial and business consultant, a businessman, a writer, and a visual artist. He's also the creator of pesopod.com, his online platform for his financial and business consultancy services. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Jonathan Francis or JF Cabral. Hello, Jonathan. Are you
Hello.
already unmuted? So how are you? Are
I'm
you
doing great, Fel. Thank you. Thank you for hosting. It's a nice Usapang Digital.
So how do you feel differently tonight now that you're the speaker instead of the host?
I'm actually excited because I get this chance to share a little bit of my knowledge to everyone.
All right. So are you ready to kick off this evening?
Yes.
All right.
Right.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Take it
Right.
away.
Right. I'll just share my screen here. Please give me a moment. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Not yet, John.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So I think you can now see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
So the topic I'm going to discuss tonight is creative writing and online marketing. And right, so that's me. I'm Jonathan Francis A. or JF Cabral. I'm the founder of Pespa.com, as Fel stated earlier. Right? I am a financial advisor and also a business consultant. Okay. So basically, why am I? Why did I organize this Usapang Digital tonight? Kasi it's very important that we entrepreneurs, or at least marketing professionals, know how to address our audience. Kailangan meron tayong tools, right tools para ma-reach natin yung target audience natin. And nowadays, content is very important. And paano ba natin sila ma-reach through content? Is through words. And dito na nagkakalabanan. Dito na yung labanan ng words. Dapat magaling kang magsalita dapat magaling kang gumamit ng salita. And this is where creative writing comes in. So this is my first topic for tonight. So what is creative writing? Ito na yung this is the simplest definition I could find on the internet. Original writing that expresses ideas and thoughts in an imaginative way. So the key here is imagination. So parang hirap, no? Kasi parang na-encompass niya. Ang dami-dami niyang na-encompass. And siguro malalaman natin, ano ba ang creative writing in terms of what is not creative writing? It is not creative writing if it's academic writing, journalism, technical writing, and textbook. So bottom line, it's based on facts. Kapag based on facts, hindi siya creative writing. Kasi sa creative writing, we're trying to create a different world. We're trying to use our words para i-bring natin yung audience natin to a different level of experience. Sa academic writing kasi, we're just stating facts, we're just putting information out there para sa mambabasa natin, maintindihan nila. So, walang masyadong arte. Right. So again, that's academic writing, journalism writing, technical writing, and textbooks. Those are not creative writing. And lahat ng kinds of writing other than these four is now creative writing. So, sa sa digital marketing, ito madalas natin nakita. On your left are posts, mga Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, Instagram posts, blogs, yan. Actually, matagal na ito natin ginagamit. We've been using this for a long time. Even Twitter, we have tweets, TikToks, and statuses. Ngayon, dito kasi, we have to be responsible with the content that we share to our audience. Hindi lang basta-basta. Although sometimes, nonsensical things can be entertaining. Yes, minsan marami tayong nakikita. I don't mean I don't mean any offense. Pero kunya sa TikTok, may mga content na minsan nakakatawa. Minsan parang, sabihin natin totoo, nonsense. But actually, they're funny. And the funny things usually attract viewers. And when you have viewers, you have audience, you have customers, potential clients. But it's not always the case na kapag hindi naman porke na you attract viewers, kailangan dapat palagi nonsensical. So dapat there are times also that we have to deliver meaningful contents to our audience. That is our responsibility. Especially now na ang dali-dali kasi we have the internet. Ang dali-daling ibigay, ang dali-daling mag-reach out sa audience natin because of the internet. Right. So what are the different creative writing that we can use for our posts, blogs, tweets, TikToks, and statuses? So short story, poetry, parody, memoir, slogan, commentary, feature story, e-greeting cards, essay, comic strips. Dito kasi parang we're trying to bring a story to our audience. Na syempre, sometimes kasi parang ang hirap nga naman. Kunyari sa akin, finance. So anong klaseng story ang bibigay natin? Which is later on, magbibigay ng insight dyan si Christian and si Elaine. Okay? So basically, I'm just putting out there the different kinds of creative writing that we can use for our online marketing strategies. Now, you have to keep in mind that marketer ka. Okay, you don't just tell people na ito yung product namin. You have to be relatable. Ibig sabihin, people should be able to relate dun sa story na binibigay mo sa kanila. Kasi if they don't feel you, parang they feel disconnected to the content that you're delivering to them. Walang effect. Kahit gaano pa kaganda yan, kahit sobrang impressive ng words mo, kung hindi sila nakaka-relate, it's nonsense. It's useless. Okay? So you have to be relatable. So paano sila makaka-relate sa'yo? When I started as a financial advisor, I was thinking, ano ba yung content? Paano ako mag-stand out? Kasi ang dami-dami ng financial advisors niyan eh. Paano ako mag-stand out? So what I did, I wrote a story about myself. So I did this on Facebook. I noticed that when I write a story about the changes that I've been through na maganda. So from this medyo hindi magandang status to an improved status sa buhay. Ang dami nag-likes. Ilang minutes pa lang ng pagkakapost ko, marami nagla-likes. Bakit? People love a good story. And people love a story that they can relate to. People love stories that inspire them, that influence their opinion. Okay? So creative writing plus online marketing equals followers or subscribers. So ang gusto naming i-deliver sa inyo what we're trying to to point here is you can use your words para maka-attract ka ng followers. And okay, it's different when you say marketing and selling. When you're marketing, you're just trying to make people aware of your brand. You're not yet selling. Indirectly, you're also selling. Pero you're trying to get in viewers pa, subscribers, para alam nila, uy, nag-exist pala yung brand na yan. So that's the marketing part. Now, the selling part is different. So this, the selling part, medyo maano pa yun, ibang usapan na yan. We're just focusing on marketing. So whenever you're using stories, so like what I did, I used my personal story para ma-attract sila na pumunta sa page ko para i-share nila yung story ko. Usually mas natutuwa ako kapag nag-share sila yung mga strangers. Shinare nila yung story ko. Yung post ko, sa Facebook post ko, bigla nilang shinare out of the blue. Hindi ko siya kilala. Tapos shinare niya. Yan yung pinakamagandang nangyayari. Kasi it means that hindi ka nagre-rely sa kaibigan, hindi ka nagre-rely sa kamag-anak mo na i-share yung story mo. Ibig sabihin, nakaka-reach ka sa tamang audience. Meron kang nai-inspire, merong natutuwa sa sinusulat mo online. Okay. So, what if no one's reading my post? Actually, problema ko rin to. I think every marketer, every entrepreneur go through this. No one's reading my post. Bakit kaya? Dalawa lang yan. First, it's either you have the wrong audience, or secondly, you have the wrong material. Kapag sinabing wrong audience, baka naman sinashare mo yung story mo, sinashare mo yung poetry mo, sinashare mo yung slogan mo, yung mga e-greeting cards mo sa maling tao. Parang hindi naman talaga sila interesado. So you have to also study your business. You have to reach the kind of audience. Also, we're so lucky now kasi the digital age has allowed us to know right away if our posts are effective. Sa Facebook Insights, makikita mo agad, walang nag-review, bagsak yung view ngayon, parang pa-decline. Nakikita natin agad dahil sa Facebook reporting or Instagram reporting, meron silang statistics agad. And we're lucky kasi noon, kailangan mo pang maghintay ng ilang weeks bago nila malaman na effective ba yung commercial nila, effective ba yung marketing strats nila. But now, nandyan na agad. After 24 hours, kapag hindi nag-click yung post, may ibig sabihin, it's useless. You have to make another one. Okay, so there. Kung mali yung audience. Now, secondly, is mali yung content. Ngayon, excuse me. Mali yung content in a way na mali yung approach mo. Siguro yung product mo. For example, ako, there was a time in my practice of being a financial advisor, I consulted another business consultant. Kasi may ginawa akong PDF story. Parang PDF, ebook, series. Story about, anong pangalan na nun? Kalimutan ko na. Si Mang Ben ata. Si Mang Ben. Nakalimutan ko na. Si Mang Ben. Story about Mang Ben na parang nag-ano siya. Nasa pinaglalabanan niya kung kukuha ba siya ng insurance o hindi, mga ganyan. So, tinanong ko yung business consultant, bakit kaya hindi binabasa ng mga tao? And she said, okay, it's Daniela Yatinshai. She was my speaker before this, in Usapang Negosyante. She said, maybe it's the wrong material. Which, na-realize ko, nga naman. People will not read kung hindi sila interesado. Maybe hindi sila readers. So you have to find a way para basahin nila yung content mo. Kasi kahit gaano kaganda yan, if you're using the wrong tool, hindi magkakama across yung message mo. Okay. So, your way with words shows a great deal of what kind of business you're running. So, for example, if you're running a bakery, syempre, kailangan yung words mo rin is dapat nagko-complement doon sa kind of business mo. So dapat mga terms mo tungkol sa food, ganyan, and hindi masyado, kung depende kasi sa target na audience mo eh. Kung sila kung medyo nasa upper strata, it's okay to use complicated words. Pero if you're trying to target the mass, yung masa, you don't expect them to read your story kung na sobrang hindi nila maintindihan. Okay? So this is actually common sense, right? And also, yung structure mo ng sentences, yung delivery mo sa kanila. Baka kasi mamaya masyado namang OA na yung pagiging creative writer mo. Tapos parang nakokornihan na sila. So, ayan din. So, kailangan mo rin timplahin. Okay? So, in the next slides, I'm going to show you some exemplary products of creative writing used for marketing. So, here is a story. So, a while ago, I said na hindi mo pwedeng ipilit sa audience mo na basahin. But, there is a way na maipakita mo yung talent mo sa creative writing, poetry, short story. Kung sasamahan mo siya ng elements na para bang makukuha mo yung yung attention nila, yung interest nila. And one way nito is done by Treehouse Story. Treehouse Story is actually a wedding service, okay, wedding service provider. So this is a story. This is a video by Shan and Karel. Okay, she used to be a VJ, I think, entitled Nagsimula. It is a pre-wedding film by Treehouse Story. So in this video, may tulang sinulat. I think, hindi ko alam kung si Karel or si galing sa Treehouse Story yan. Pero ang ganda-ganda ng pagkakasulat ng tula. So later on, because we don't have enough time, I want you to watch this Treehouse Story. So ito yung so just screenshot nyo lang na makikita nyo kung gaano kaganda yung tula. It's in Tagalog. And nailapat siya sa video. And yung effect niya is ang ganda. So parang ganda. It's very inspiring. Parang you'll fall in love kapag napanood niya ito. Next, okay, ang sikat na sikat dito is Jollibee. So Jollibee, alam naman natin yung mga commercial nila, talagang it appeals to emotion. So alam nila na kailangan nilang kurutin yung puso ng mga matatanda, ng mga bata, and sometimes may mga naiiyak pa nga. So that is a very good, effective way of using creative writing. So kasi once you have touched lives through your writing, that means you're a very good creative writer. And you're a very good marketer. And ito yung I think, isa sa mga pinaka-successful use of creative writing in television. So, although ito is my video, pero script writing is also creative writing, remember that. So, hindi ka magkakaroon ng video kung walang script. And walang script kung wala kang talent sa creative writing. And ito is yung kalye-serye ng Itbulaga. Let's face it, although hindi lahat gusto, it became a phenomenal event sa buong mundo. Itong I think we became number 1 sa tweets ata dito sa kalye-serye na to. So, hindi ko alam yung buong story, but it depicts the story of, I think, Aldab, yung love story nila. And sinubaybayan talaga ng tao. And nakita nyo kung gaano kaganda yung pagkakasulat ng script. Kasi pinag-aralan talaga nila. And that way, marami naging viewers yung Itbulaga. Hindi nyo pwedeng sabihin na, parang hindi ma-related sa business. Hindi siya related to business. Pero, makikita nyo na it drew yung audience papunta sa kanila. And dami lang viewers. Kahit sa Jollibee, wala naman talaga masyadong minsan, sa ending lang yung relate lang, may pagkain pala doon. Pero actually, yun nga, you find a way para makarating ka doon sa puso ng audience mo. And also, 2 na popular, although ito is foreigner, is from Underknown and Nas Daily. So, sa Facebook nagkalat sila. Si Underknown, siya yung nagpapakalat ng video na What If. So, what if For example, what if you did not brush your teeth? Yun, nakita ko lang kanina. What if you did not brush your teeth for a whole year? What will happen? So what they're using is science na. So this is this is science fiction. Parang they're using facts of science. Or they're using science. They're using science to make a story na talagang entertaining sa atin. Paano ko pag hindi nga ako nag-toothbrush ng isang buwan? Okay? So, also, may mga story dyan na, what if buhay pa mga dinosaurs ngayon? So, ano mangyayari sa mga tao? So, something that tickles the imagination. So, you see, people are watching it. And Underknown and Nas Daily are actually business entities. Although, ito kasi parang hindi sila masyadong hindi sila masyadong parang video talaga yung product nila. But you, as an entrepreneur or a marketer, can also use the same strategy. Okay? It's a digital world. Marami na tayong possibilities na pwedeng gawin. And maswerte nga tayo ngayon kasi we have social media. Right? So, last words, okay. I'm not the best writer out there. I know that. Okay? But I know how to write. And when you know something, ang gagawin mo, pagagalingin mo yung sarili mo. There are better people than me. There are better writers than me. But siguro hindi nila hindi nila ginagamit yung talent nila. Ginagamit nila yung talent nila in another way. Ako kasi, businessman ako and I happen to know how to write little. And I use that little na knowledge sa pagsusulat to boost my business. And kayo din, you have to kailangan yung gamitin yung little na yan. And hindi nyo alam, baka in the next few months, in the next few years, yung business mo na nag-viral because of the meaningful contents that you're putting out there. Okay, so, right. So that's it for me. That's it from me for tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for that amazing input. So I'm sure your audience will check those exemplary works later on.
Right,
So I just have a little short question. So among those examples that you mentioned, what's the most influential to you that you were able to use in your business? Meron ba dyan or there is something else pa that you...
Ano naman? Kasi so far kasi, ang nagawa ko pa lang is yung story tsaka yung ebook.
Mhm.
But actually, kung gusto kong i-try is yung kanina yung sa From Treehouse Story, yung tula.
Mhm. Mhm.
Kasi minsan kasi makata ako.
Minsan lang ba?
Minsan makata ako. Minsan gusto kong
Okay.
magsulat ng tula in English. Ayan.
Mhm.
Minsan parang ang ganda. Sa paningin ko maganda. Ganun naman ang art
Okay.
Diba? Ganun naman ang art.
So but what do you think is yung naging mas effective for you in
Ayun
terms
nga.
of creative writing?
Ayun, I think sa palagay ko, wala naman talagang effective eh. It depends sa
Okay.
delivery mo dyan. It really depends sa delivery. Kasi sometimes, when you have the money, bakit you hire the best
Correct.
writers, you
Right.
hire the best video editor, you hire the best,
Ba't ka pa magpapagod, diba?
check mo na.
Anyway.
Check mo na. But kung mag-isa ka lang, then napapasok yung pagiging creative mo. Kaya nga creative
Alright.
writer eh. You have to use that
Alright.
creativity.
Okay, thank you so much for that. By the way, guys, I think I skipped some people during our first initial conversation. So I'd like to acknowledge that from Paranaque, who is a technical management student, and who else? Salita lang kayo ha. If nakalimutan ko kayo, I'm so sorry. I think si Badet lang ba? Nice San from Makati. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Carmela from Paco, Manila. And, okay, I think wala na ako nakalimutan. If those some participants are wondering what I'm talking about, we had like an interaction earlier. I was asking what's your job or career path at the moment and where you're from in this where are you from while watching here. Okay, so now let's go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a nurse, teacher, magazine and devotional writer, editor, and most of all, a memoir writing mentor. She's the author of the Peace Books best-selling memoir entitled Finding You, a memoir on dreams, detours, and destiny. which became a finalist in Jaime Cardinal's Catholic Book Awards in 2017 for the youth category. She also published a poetry collection called Gentle Words and a memoir writing booklet called Scribbling from Memory. She now owns a writing and tutorial business named Scribblory, where she helps young and old professionals in recalling, narrating, and sharing life stories through writing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Elaine Marie Factor.
Hi everyone. Good
Hi,
evening.
Elaine.
Thank you,
Are you
Felz, for that
excited?
introduction.
Are you
Um,
excited already?
I'm excited and a little nervous. Yes.
Wow. Okay. We're excited to hear from you also. So the floor is yours.
Yay. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just flash my screen first so that we can just go over this smoothly. Oh no, my screen is showing my page. Okay, wait. I'll go to the right screen. Okay, can you see my
Yeah, there.
screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Already.
so what I'll be giving you are merely suggestions, not rules. Okay, I'm going to make that disclaimer. Importante yun. Okay, so what I'll be giving you are suggestions, not rules, because I don't want to say that these are must-haves or should-haves. Because in fact, creative writing strategies for online marketing is a broad topic since online marketing is widely used in different fields, right? And social media world is a huge world that is even more growing every day, especially now pandemic. So everybody is online. And yeah, so what I'll share with you tonight are general yet practical strategies that you can use when writing for online marketing. Okay, so of course, the first question is what is your goal when writing for online marketing? And the goal should be to write an anchor content. And what is anchor content? It is a single piece that drives significant change in reputation and visibility of the site, page, or company. Or in short, you have to produce a content that stands out from the crowd, okay, amidst this noisy media escape. Okay? And kumbaga, sabihin natin, yung mga nagva-viral. Pero yun nga, just like what Jonat said a while ago, it doesn't have to be nonsensical. We want to share something that is of value, no? And new. Yan yung mga gusto ng tao. Kasi hindi naman kailangan nakakatawa ka or nonsense ka para mag-viral ka. You can also share something of value, something new or novel, something shocking or surprising, di ba? Creative writing. Okay. But then the thing is, even though we have a message that gives one, two, or all these aforementioned things, it is still important that we know how to deliver them effectively. Di ba? Yun ang importante. Sabi nga kanina, di ba? Delivery. It depends on delivery. Or we can at least be aware be aware enough to apply basic strategies that I believe most anchor writers use. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about tonight, and at least in my portion. And since writing is a visual activity, we want to know, yeah, sige, next slide. We want to know how do people read on the web? And Jacob Nielsen said, they actually don't read, guys. They just scan. I think Jacob Nielsen is talking about the people in general. Like the media world, the social media world, is already bombarded with words, and so they don't have the time or even the patience to read everything. They just scan. So you have to be even, pero ano may time, 'di ba? Ikaw, may time na scan ka lang pero merong makaka-catch ng attention mo eh. Tapos, yun yung babasahin mo talaga. So, you want to be that content, okay? You want to write that content that will catch the audience attention. Nababasahin nila word per word. So, it takes a really good and engaging content for people to read your write up word per word. And it is recommended for you to do that. It is recommended that you check your organization, you check your style, and your punctuation. So yeah, let's go over this one by one. First, check your organization. Okay, first, you have to write good headlines. Same concept ng hook, 'di ba? Kasi it is the first thing that they see. So you want to catch them dun pa lang sa headline na yun. And we want it to be stated clearly. Especially, parang kumbaga, kung anong topic mo, dapat yun na. Gets niya na. Or start it with a question that will lead them to the topic. Or a question that will lead to another question and another question. Tapos unti-unti na nag-unfold yung mystery. May mga ganun, di ba? Parang creative writing talaga. Actually, creative writing talaga yun. And yun. Now, you cannot write a good headline if you're gonna do it only for the sake of writing a good headline. No. You should empathize your audience or think like your audience. You can ask, if I were my audience, okay, if I were the person who would read this, what would grab my attention? Okay. So you have to ask that. And then you can put the most important information on top kasi just like what we've said, no? They don't read, they scan. So what if they don't finish yung yung post mo or blog mo? Diba? So at least they got the most important information na. And then organization per se, you can actually use different approaches. The things that I wrote here in this slide, these are actually what we call rhetorical patterns. Okay, so you can narrate, ayan, iba't ibang approach, describe, teach a process, compare and contrast, show cause and effect, classify and divide, define and argue or persuade. Marami palang iba't ibang approaches kasi usually nakita lang natin, di ba? Nagna-narrate or nagde-describe. Hindi pa tayo nakita ng nagka-classify and divide. Onti lang. Siguro may nakita tayo pero onti lang. Or nagko-compare and contrast. Ayun. So, check your organization and then you can use or experiment on different approaches. Next, you have to check your style. So, you have to keep it concise. What we commonly know about keeping something concise is we want to make it short, simple, and straight to the point. That's what we know. And, well, that's actually right. But for some, di ba parang it sounds a bit constricting. Kasi is it possible to be creative and still be concise? The answer is yes. If you've read Moby Dick, that's a classic novel, but it's very concise. Ayun. So what's the main thing about being concise? You have to take no clutters. You don't use words that are not useful in your sentence. That's what being concise means. Okay? Ibig sabihin, huwag kang gagamit ng mga salita na hindi makakatulong sa message mo or hindi makakatulong or kahit wala siya, makaka-stand alone yung message mo. Okay, so it's also talking about being avoiding wordiness. For example, instead of using due to the fact that, you can just say because. Diba? Minsan kasi pinapahaba natin para medyo smart, diba? On account of, may mga ganun pa tayo. Pero actually, you can just use one word for that. And people don't have time to read wordy content. So just keep it concise. What do I need? Parang, bigay mo na kailangan ko. Dahil mo pang mga palabok, di ba? May mga ganon. And then, another thing is, it is also important for us to know how to highlight the important parts of our content. That's why I wrote here, emphasize. And there are many ways for you to do that. Like, you can use big letters, exclamation point, full stops, like a period, or maybe you can bold it if you're in some mga blogs, diba, you can bold and italicize na. So those are the ways you can use to, emphasize or highlight important parts of your content. Now, make sure to not overuse any of them because you might be you might just defeat the purpose of making it stand out from other words in your content. Okay, next, use the power of white space. So this only means it's okay to leave one sentence or a word alone in a paragraph, diba? Making smart use of the white space will not only make your content more readable, but it can also give power to your message. So instead of giving your audience one huge slab or chunk of a paragraph, pwede mo silang pag-iwa-hiwalayin, divide mo siya. And then just arrange them into neat paragraphs. Later, I'll show you that. And then you can also use bullets to make it more readable, if appropriate. Kasi mamaya, wala ka namang list. Wala ka namang inventory na papakita. So don't use bullets. But if it's appropriate, then yeah, you can use it for to make it more readable. And then check your punctuation. That's the last one. Okay, it is necessary to mind your punctuation marks when writing your content because, as Patrick Barry said, it makes it look sufficiently professional and polished. Yeah, importante. Actually, he gave this metaphor kasi I attended a course under Patrick Barry in Coursera that's about editing. And he gave this metaphor. And he said, the metaphor is, imagine seeing a man in suit and tie, tapos hair brushed up, looking all professional, and then suddenly you see his shoes. May taming sapatos niya. Grabe yung man. Professional. Tapos may composure and may poise na poise. Pagtingin mo sa shoes niya, he's wearing orange rubber shoes. Di ba? Parang ang term nga, ridiculous. Parang you can't take that man seriously. Parang sabi niya ganun. And it's the same thing with incorrect use of punctuation. The message could be so good, kaso yung period wala. Walang period. Parang tuloy-tuloy lang bigla. Bakit ganun? Di ba? Parang you have to know, parang the writer should put a period after a sentence, di ba? A question mark should a question should have a question mark, and there should be a comma after a dependent clause. Like, ayun, medyo mahirap ang comma para sa iba. Pero actually, yung mga dependent, for example, although I am nervous, comma, I am excited. Diba yung mga ganun, medyo basic na yun. Pag hindi alam ng writer, yun nakakahiya. Or it could be that the writer loves using semicolon naman in place of commas and periods. Medyo weird din itsura niya. According to Reader's Digest, the chief purpose of punctuation is to make the meaning of a written passage clear. Okay, that's the main purpose of punctuation marks, to make it clear. Punctuation marks are not just optional frill, they are essential to the accurate exchange of information. Punctuate carelessly and you will communicate inefficiently and probably misleadingly. Ambiguity thrives on poor punctuation. Yeah. Okay. Sige, now I'm going to show you some examples. Ito, just to show you yung power of white space, just like what I've told you. Ayan, di ba? It makes it more readable kasi naka-bullets na sila. Yan. And then concise, what do I need? And then start with a question. Have you ever taken a full pause to really ask, where is God in my life? Yan. Di mo papaisip ka. Di ba? May ganun, pa-reflect. So give them something like that. And then, or just go straight to the point. What is it all about? Yeah, learn a better way of sharing your personal story. And then another example, yeah, yung white spaces na sabi ko, di ba, there are spaces there. Kasi di ba, sa Instagram or, yeah, lalo na sa Instagram, parang yung first paragraph lang yung pinapakita niya and then see more na yung nasa baba. So if you give them one-liner that's very interesting, they will click see more. And then makikita nila yung the rest, di ba? So mapapabasa sila. And then, if you divide your post like that, parang mas madali, parang hindi siya mukhang mahaba. So, masarap siya basahin. Diba? And then, make sure that you are varying as well your punctuations or yun nga, yung highlighting the important parts of your, how do you call this? Of your content. Yan. For example, here, I could have, kasi ginamit ko dito full stop doon sa Scribblory Writers Library. I could have used their all capitals. Diba? Lahat kinapitalize ko. Siya, kitang-kita siya. It's important. Another thing, okay, I will also show you another example. Naalala ko kasi Jonats mentioned this a while ago. Ang liit niya, pero I'll just show you the document style. So this is an example of a creative writing approach. Okay. Medyo, may space siya dapat, pero ang arte ko sa space, no? Pero, ayan. I started it with, we already know this hard truth. We need to wait. Diba? Especially now, pandemic. Relatable, we are all waiting for the world to be better. So, yeah, I started it with that. And then, waiting is everything in our journey. The space between ganyan-ganyan. Okay, this post actually gained a lot of likes on my page. And parang, in a subtle way, I mentioned this, that I am like teaching words already. Alam mo yun, parang you are using story. This is a story about how I didn't speak for 2 years. I mean, 2 years old na ako nagsalita. Tapos parang nagtataka sila, ano ba to? Bingi ba to? O pipe? Is she deaf or mute? Kinakabahan na yung parents ko. And then just one day, I expressed or I said this, I uttered this one sentence. Isang sentence agad yung sinabi ko. And then I just said here that lahat pala ng waiting may dahilan, no? That it's okay to wait as long as parang just have the faith that you're waiting for some, parang it is in the process. It is a mastery or a masterpiece in progress, something like that. So you can use that. You can use a story, an own story, like memoirs, short memoirs, your story, or it could be something that you've just made up, diba? Fiction. And yeah, you can grab the audience attention because it is relatable. It is true. It happened to someone. And it could happen to them. There. Okay, so I think that's it. So in summary, I'll just mention the 3 important things, no, before we end. Check your organization, check your style, and then check your punctuation. And then if you can empathize, then you're good to go. Thank you.
All right. There you have it from Elaine, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you have any question, actually we have one na. But for this particular topic, you may type them in the chat box and they'll be answered shortly during the Q&A. Okay, so just a recap. So Elaine talked about anchor content, right? Okay, so we should have anchor content, and then she also mentioned about organization, style, and punctuation. All right, so I just have a question, Elaine, before we proceed to our next speaker. So, don't you find it frustrating as a creative writer to do online marketing, or parang sometimes they don't, diba? They don't jive. If you are a creative writer, you have a way with words, you want your words to flow, tapos biglang sisirain ng online marketing mo. So, as a creative entrepreneur, I experienced this as well. So, parang, diba? Parang yung inspiration mo nandun and all, and then all of a sudden, bigla mo siyang gagawin consign just because you want to market, right? So this is, for me as an entrepreneur, this is very frustrating. But for you, you are an author, you're a creative writer, and you market as well. And based on experience, how do you make that work for you? Those two two different, very different discipline actually. But right now, that's our topic. So, what can you give our audience about this since you do both?
You always go back to your purpose or your intention, diba? If your intention is to help people through your words, then it will not be frustrating if you will see that your words will help that people or with those people, diba?
Okay.
Kasi
Okay.
writing naman, yes, it can serve you, it can serve us writers, but then the ultimate goal is as a writer, you serve your readers, diba? So
Mm-hmm.
you adjust to them. And it's okay to be frustrated sometimes na parang gusto mo kasing mag-market, so you have to keep it concise, ganyan. Pero kasi you're just using it for that one platform naman eh. E di yung
Mm-hmm.
i-reserve mo siya for another platform, di ba? If you want to elaborate on that, kasi kinonsize mo siya for marketing, then write another entry
All
that's
right.
for
Mm-hmm.
creatives, for blog, di ba? Ganon.
Yeah, that really makes sense. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Elaine. That's
Thank
a good tip,
you.
guys, especially for creative writers who are also marketing right now. So
Felz,
let's
there's a
move on.
question pala from that.
Yeah, we'll go to Dett's question later
Okay.
on para we can discuss more, okay?
All right. Thank
Uh,
you.
so now let's go to our third speaker, our last speaker. Hold on now. So our final speaker for this evening has 9 years of experience in the digital marketing and advertising agency. He started as a writer and worked his way to becoming a senior account manager, most notably in Monolith Growth Ventures, which is a performance marketing agency, as well as in Magic, a Sequoia, and Y Combinator funded startup. Apart from those two projects, he has founded Project Productivity, which is a coaching business designed to provide practical approach to time and procrastination management. So ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Christian Alan Vibar.
Hello, hi.
Hello,
Thanks for the introduction,
Christian.
Fel. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you for giving us
How
your
are
time
you?
tonight. I'm doing
So
great.
how do you find our first two presentations so far?
Actually, very great insights, no? When it comes to writing talaga, maraming techniques, maraming methods, and I hope I can share to you yung method din na what really helped me in my career. So,
All right. So let's see now what you got there for our audience. Take it away.
okay, let's go. So, let me know if you could see my screen and if you
Yes, we can see your
could.
screen.
Um, do you see my notes? Do you
No.
see
Don't
this?
worry.
Okay.
We don't see
So
your nose.
all right. So conversion focused copywriting for any industry. Like what Fel said, ako I'm an advertiser and a marketer. In my job talaga we're being judged for one thing which is on our performance. So we can really write like great content, but if it doesn't bring in revenue or doesn't bring in leads, we won't really establish our value to the client. So what I'm gonna share tonight is this approach na we use na will help you nudge conversions for your clients regardless of whatever industry you're in. And I'm gonna show an example. Okay. In my work in advertising, like I said, there are only two things that we're thinking about when creating copy. So one is we have to capture attention, and then number two, we have to trigger an action. So like what Elaine said kanina, people don't read, they just scan. And in this like market, no, when you look at Facebook ads and Google ads, these are all auctions. It means that you're competing with other advertisers when it comes to content. And just to digress a little bit, in these auction systems, you're rewarded by the quality of your content. So when your content really has higher quality, you'll enjoy lesser cost per clicks, lesser cost per CPMs. Kung merong mga nag-Facebook ads dito, ang mamahal na ng CPMs in Q4, and definitely your creative takes a part in that. So like I said, ito lang yung dalawang bagay. it doesn't really matter, to be honest, if you have a perfect grammar or if you're witty or even if meron ka pang engagements. The point is, if you don't achieve these two goals with your copy, you won't convert. So, paano yun, di ba? Now, ito yung sinasabi ko, when it comes to conversion-focused copywriting, you have to rely on frameworks. Why? One, you will probably work across multiple industries and you won't be experts in all of them. Ako, in my experience, if you become a writer, if you write for a living, makakuha ka talaga ng mga clients na minsan hindi mo alam yung industry na yon or minsan hindi ka pa nakaka-relate. Like for me, for example, three of my clients right now, may glutathione, merong yung probiotics for parents, and then merong hair loss like solutions. Like I don't use any of these products, but I have to write content for them anyway. Right? So, kung magre-rely lang ako sa intellect ko and knowledge, wala na akong matatapos. And then yung pangalawa is, meron tayong kailangan deadlines na ma-accomplish. So, you really can't wait for inspiration to come to you. Before, when I was starting in this career, uh, pag nagusulat ako ng like siguro mga 500 word articles, ganyan, it will take me 24 hours kasi I just don't have the inspiration in me to do it. So, before noon, parang dinadoubt ko yung sarili ko kung, okay, hindi ba ako magaling na writer? Pero it turned out, wala lang akong sistema, wala lang akong framework. So today, I'm gonna share that one framework that I use for copywriting. This was developed in our agency, in Monolith Growth Ventures, and I also use this in my own coaching business. Okay, the framework is called PDF, or Pain, Dream, and Fix. Ayan, pain. So I mentioned a while ago that you're always competing for attention when you write for conversion. And the best way to do that is to capture their attention. And you can do that by highlighting their pain. So let's take a look at an example. So for this one, no, I'm going to use financial advisors as someone, a financial advisor who's looking to create a brand new content. Pinili ko to kasi I've been seeing a lot of content from financial advisors over the past couple of years. And I think this is an industry where it's very hard to stand out kasi you just have so much competition. No, to preface, I am not a financial advisor, and I don't sell insurance. And I have friends who are financial advisors, but my knowledge here really isn't actually basic lang siya. Alam, may insurance lang ako. And dito natin makikita yung benefit talaga ng PDF na if someone like me can create content using PDF, I think if you're really in this industry, you will generate more insight. Okay, so balik tayo rito sa screenshot. I did a 5-minute research of financial advisors selling life insurance online. So you'll see the angles here, no? Sorry. Peace of mind is critical nowadays. Those who died yesterday had plans this morning. Those who died this morning had plans for night. Income loss or emergency. Dumating ang time na hindi mo na makita ang kinabukasan at mahal mo sa buhay. Now, these angles are good, right? Like these are actual concerns if you're selling insurance. But the problem is like everyone's using it, 'di ba? So if you're seeing a lot of content, it's hard to trigger an action if everyone's saying the same thing. And then the second question is this the real pain? Baka meron pang iba, 'di ba? So we'll find out in the first part of the pain, which is pain research. So, researching for pains actually is very easy kasi we have the internet naman. So, pwede tayong gumamit ng forums, we can use Reddit, we can use Facebook groups or any community basically. And syempre, if you can talk to actual prospective customers, maganda rin. So, I just want to note na dapat yung lugar na pag-researchan mo is yung may totoong problem talaga, no? So if you research tapos you land in an article made for SEO, for example, it might not be the best resource. And I'll show you why. Okay, pain research. So, ang ginawa ko, nung ginagawa ko tong presentation na to, I Googled financial advisors problem Reddit, quote unquote. So, meron tayong people here who worked in Endless Rise, SEO, alam natin yan. After 5 minutes of research, ito yung nakita ko. So, hinighlight ko yung phrases na relevant sa pain. Now, tingnan natin. So, yan, may highlight. You show your product firsthand to your friend. All they do in the end is take advantage of people who are done with money and profit off them. And then yung pangalawa rito, if FAs are more upfront to me that they are selling more insurance, I'd be more at ease with them. Gets the trust issue out of the way. So, uh, pag sinummarize mo yung ano no, yung pains, and then you try to like parse this data. The pain is actually not having protection. It's not having insured for your loved ones, which is yun yung pain na shinare ko kanina. When we look at the actual pain, and this is based on our research, it's three things. So financial advisors don't have the skill and are just looking to make a quick buck. Financial advisors are not upfront about selling, which is a trust issue. Financial advisors just quote unquote show their products without considering other options. Now, siguro may mga financial advisors dito na ma-offend pag nabasa nila to, and that is good. Kasi it means that the pain is real, no? So you know you have an actual pain when it actually hits you. So sa amin sa marketing, for example, for agencies, ang pain sa amin is palaging magaling kami magbenta, pero pag delivery na, palpak naman. Or parang dati noon sa Monolith, ang sabi sa mga agencies is, okay, maraming engagement pero walang nagko-convert. So as a marketer noon, like super offended ako kasi I really like try hard to make content that engages. Pero what I discovered nung nag-PDF kami is, well, people are actually looking for conversion-based content. So we'll get back to this pain in a bit. No? Let's move to the dream muna. So dreams naman, ang syntax ng dreams is what if plus yung inverse nung pain. So basically ito yung scenario kapag wala yung problem mo. Ang maganda dito is if your problem is interesting enough, your dreams kind of present themselves kasi meron ka na dito, you just have to reverse it. Okay. So try natin to, no? Okay, so pain one, dream one. So sinabi ko lang, financial advisors don't have the skill and are just looking to make a quick buck. Binaliktad ko lang. What if your financial advisor is skilled when it comes to insurance policies and understands your policies fine prints? So pain number two, what if financial advisors are upfront about selling, which is a trust issue? What if your financial advisors sets the right expectations for you and will guide you throughout the process of throughout the process of insurance buying? In short, will not disappear after the sale. And then finally, financial advisors just shove their products without considering other options. So what if your financial advisor can give you sound advice on what to do with your assets instead of just shoving their products down your throat? So I think now you're starting to see how the copy is starting to come together, no? And you're also starting to see that now we have three angles to work with kesa isa lang. Okay. So next natin, fix. So again, sequential to, no? Pain, dream, and fix. As much as possible, don't try to skip a process. Research the pain, think of the dream, and then think of the fix. Kasi kapag nagawa mo na yung pain mo and yung dream mo ng maayos, yung fix, madali na rin. The syntax naman here is I plus I or we will plus action plus so that plus benefit. So let's try it out again. Okay, so fix. So dito sa una, and I will explain the fine print in your policy so that you will be able to make informed decisions. Number two, I will consult you with your insurance policies and investment vehicles so that you will be able to grow your wealth. And then number three, I will advise you on financial instruments and investment vehicles so that you can choose according to your own goals. So Now, ginawa na natin to. Ang layo na natin dun sa kaninang pain, which is death and loss related, no? And if you're a financial advisor who's like struggling to come up with content, now you have like three angles na you want to test. So, syempre, nasa sa'yo yan, yung willingness mo to test, and if these are the problems that you can actually solve. But we have a little bit more confidence that the audience will respond kasi we actually base this from actual problems and pains being experienced by our target market. Okay. So putting it all together, no. So ang ginawa ko rito is I imagined na I'm going to like write a Facebook ad. So I will show you like how would I treat this as a Facebook ad. So ito yung unang set ng PDF, no, PDF one. So sabi ko, insurance is definitely important both for asset protection and investments. It's just that there are too many financial advisors who don't really have the skill and disappear once you have signed that contract. Pag nabasa mo yan, and if you can relate to the content, parang oo nga, like I can agree with that. And then sinamahan ko nung pangalawa is yung dream. I am not one of them. My focus is to guide clients into making informed decisions when buying policies and explaining the fine print in easy to understand terms. And then I made a tagline which is easier now because you have an angle, which is no BS advice, just honest guidance. Let's talk today. So that's one of the output. Now let's look at the second PDF. So I said here, no, insurance won't guarantee that you'll be secured in your retirement. So I even like said the opposite of like what other market materials are suggesting, diba? But it will give you a better chance. So, and then your next is our approach is to help our clients by consulting the right insurance and investment policies that apply to them. So no upselling, just clear and straightforward guidance to help you with exactly what you need. Let's talk about your goals today. So, again, from that one angle, nakagawa na tayo kagad ng dalawang creatives uh, na magkaiba. And then finally, yung third PDF set, probably the most irritating thing that you can experience is when a financial advisor shoves their products down your throat. So I actually like claimed that catchphrase. You can actually do that if you're feeling creative. We know that there are so many options when it comes to building wealth. Let us advise you, so sorry typo yan, on financial instruments and investment vehicles that fit your goals and lifestyle. Talk to us today. And then the headline is financial advice tailor fit for you. So again, I am not a financial advisor, you know. So if like a client comes to me and asks me to write content, if I didn't have PDF, I will probably resort to like yung income loss and uh, like securing retirement angle. And that will be okay, pero you'll be up against so much competition. Pero what I did here is using PDF. It took me 20 minutes to write this, and I had three angles that I will be able to test, and I will be able to even show my client. Now, okay, maybe this is these are some angles that we could explore. So before I close lang, no, just other tips if you're like writing copy. So don't be afraid to use your credentials if you have those. So kung nakita niyo yung mga introduction ni Fel kanina, yun yung credentials namin lahat. Social proof and testimonials related to your PDF. So case studies. Mahirap, no, if you're always trying to speak from your own voice, lalo na sa digital marketing. And sobrang effective ng social proof and testimonials that highlight your PDF sa marketing agency namin. As much as possible, we use testimonials and social proof to really highlight yung mga yung PDF nung products and clients namin. And it always like works siguro mga 10 times better than us just writing content. Your process flow, if you have any, kasi your process flow could actually also be a differentiator. It means that you have a clear understanding of your industry. And then finally, don't forget your call to action. So as much as possible, if you're writing for a copy that converts, have them do something, right? Have them leave a comment, have them share, have them sign up, have them add items to the cart or open their emails. So in closing, um, yes, as I said kanina, this framework can be used in any client and in any industry. Kasi all businesses, even mga experiential brands, even mga like clothing and food, are designed to solve problems and offer solutions. So I hope you could use this approach that we do in your own creative endeavors. Thank you.
Okay, unmute. I almost forgot to unmute. Okay, thank you so much for that, Christian. That's a very useful and easy to remember trick in copywriting that definitely sticks and converts. Okay, so after this webinar, you won't look at PDF the same way again. Now they stand for pains, dreams, and things. Dali lang, di ba? Try ko nga mamaya. Okay.
Yes.
All right. There you have it. Thank you so much, Jonathan, Elaine, and Christian for those powerful presentations you delivered to us this evening. Now, we're in the Q&A portion. So I think I'm excited for you to answer these questions. We have very interesting questions from that. The first one is question for Elaine. What recommended sites for content inspiration or some examples of sites you actually read for content?
Okay,
Wow.
thank you for that question. That okay. I think kasi it depends on your 'di ba, purpose or saang field ka. So ako more on writing talaga ako. Ang mga I'll share screen para you can see.
Okay, wow.
I actually visit these sites. So raptude.com. Sobrang gandang magsulat nito ni David Kane. And tinan nyo, like what I've said, di ba, yung power of white space and very relatable. Tapos concise. The healthy emotion we don't get enough of. And then the whole presentation of the site is parang readable, simple. 'Di ba? Ang papansinin mo yung words niya. And then, of course, Austin Kleon. If you know Austin Kleon, he wrote Still Like an Artist. So, he calls himself a writer who draws. So, ayan, hindi lang puro, yung art niya is not just words, but also visual art. Yan, ang sarap tignan. And very concise din. Kasi meron siyang mga super ikling, meron siyang super ikli, pero ang ganda nung sinabi niya. Ang sarap niya basahin, yon. So, yeah, those two sites are like, I always visit them. And then, ayun, last, siguro yung mga sites na may mga, for example, 5 ways to become a better writer. Yung mga may numbers. Kasi siya parang, di ba, ay, kailangan ko yung 5 yan. 10 na kung dami ko makuha.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
There you have it, Dad. I hope that answers your questions. Thank you so much. Diba? If you answered this earlier, wala kang time maghanap ng examples. At least now you had time to show Elaine, diba? To show Badet, I mean. All right. Thank you daw, sabi ni Dad. All right, we have question for all of you guys actually. I think let's start with Jonathan to answer this question since he's the business person here typically. Do you use any tools to track your posts or metrics, and what trends do you look for? That's also from Deb.
Hi. Thank you for the question. On Facebook, kapag nagpa-publish ako ng post, ginagamit ko yung publishing tool. Kasi sa publishing tool, makikita mo na doon lahat yung yung stats ng post mo. Kung ilan ang views ngayon, ilan ang yung trend niya pataas pababa. So, usually yun yung actually kahit naman kahit hindi sa publishing tool ka nag-post, lalabas pa rin yun. So, basta this only works for Facebook pages. Pero kapag personal, I don't think may publishing tool. Sa LinkedIn, meron din yun. May tool din yun, I think. Makikita mo kung ilan yung view doon. Ang ginagamit kong actually, hindi ko masyadong tinatrack sa akin na personally. Hindi ko masyadong tinatrack yung views. Hindi ako masyadong doon. Hindi ako masyadong concerned doon. Ang concerned ako is yung click doon sa website ko. Kasi actually, the very purpose kasi na gumagawa ka ng story sa mga social media is para mapunta sila doon sa totoong kung nasan yung business mo, which is actually yung web, yung sa case ko website. Kasi meron akong sariling website. So, I make a story hoping, hoping na matutuwa sila sa content and ma-encourage sila mag-click. Okay, uy, maganda to ah. I'll read more doon sa website. Then doon sa website, doon naman ang tool na ginagamit ko is Google Analytics. So sa Google Analytics, makikita ko kung ilan ang visitors ko per day. I also use talk.to. Actually, ano siya, chat tool. Pero meron din siyang parang visit stats doon. So, yun lang naman. That's, I hope na answer ko yung question.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. So, typically you're saying it depends on your goal then, diba? So, if your goal is to attract more audience on your site or your platform, you use a particular tool for that. But if you're, for example, for selling naman, it's a different, ano naman, diba? It's a different technique and tool na gagamitin mo. All right. Thank you so much for that. How about you, Elaine and Christian? Let's go with Elaine first.
Alam ko si Christian muna.
Kasi Christian ka muna.
Nag-volunteero pa.
Mag-prepare
sige.
ka muna.
Ah,
Go
Christian.
muna. Ladies request.
Sa amin kasi ang metric nga lang na hinahanap namin is conversions. We don't even track clicks anymore kasi the client really doesn't care. So sabi nila magkano benta, ganon. So let me like share
Conversion na lang.
a dash. So, let me i-hide ko lang yung yung mga hindi ko pwedeng i-share. So ito nakikita niyo siguro to. Wait. Ayan, nakikita niyo yung performance dito no sa baba. Ayan. Tama ba? Nakikita niyo ba?
Yes, you can
Okay.
see.
So, sa amin, tama yung sinabi ni Fel na you have to start with a target metric and a target goal. So sa amin, ang target talaga namin always is, ano ba ito i-move to the left? Let me, alisin ko lang yung, ayun. So, sorry. Ang target namin, for example, for this specific account, ay, sorry, ayaw na. Oops. Ang target namin for this specific account is purchase. Open ko lang ito.
Very technical yung pinapakita ni Christian. Hindi ko naiintindihan.
So,
Intimidate ka na ba?
so ang pinapakita namin is
Hard
lagi
to
yung
say.
ROAS, which is magkano yung return mo on your ad spend. So,
Mhm.
for example, this month we spent 180K on this account. So, the client is expecting between 3 to 4. So, lagi naman sinasabi na, okay, if it's like within that range, okay lang. So, hindi ko somehow hindi ko ma-scroll pero yung revenue nito is about 600, 700K. So sa amin, yun lang tinitingnan namin. Yung link clicks, yung ibang aspects ng site, hindi na namin pinapakialaman unless bumagsak tong like metrics na to. Then saka kami magi-investigate kung okay, are we targeting the right audience? Is our creative on point? If not, okay naman. And that's how you should measure trends, no? Like the worst thing that you could do when you're like looking for metrics and trends is to try to analyze all of the metrics available. Like you should like care for one lang, like one metric lang. So sa amin like ROAS lang. And then that changes. Like pag sinabi ng client na okay, ang gusto ko 1 million na revenue. Hindi kami 1 million na revenue lang yung binabantayan namin. So we only have like one question to ask, diba? Like are we hitting that metric? And that's how you should like spot for trend. So pwede rin yun sa engagements. So for example, if gagawa ka ng post, try to make it like a game, no? Parang okay, you know what, for this post, I'm expecting na I'm gonna get 1,000 engagements for this post. For me to consider nagagana siya. Right? Para hindi ka, okay, 1,000 lang ngayon, bukas 200, bukas 300, parang madi-discourage ka na. Parang if you have like those like singular metric in mind, your creative really has a purpose. So, yan.
So that's a bonus lesson for you guys on online marketing, which we don't really cover right now. Okay, so what do you call that tool again, Christian? Just for
Yun is, ano yun, Facebook Ads Manager yun. So,
Facebook
sa
Ads
mga
Manager
nagpi-Facebook
then.
ads,
So
yeah.
Technica. So okay, so how about you, Elaine? Did you
Um,
search for something already?
Actually, same ako with Jonathan eh. Yung mga ginagamit niya, same lang with
Mhm.
me. Actually, when you boost a post din sa Facebook page, they'll show you naman how many pero people reached, yung engagement, how many clicks, mga ganun. So, parang kung sa tracking your posts, it's easy because parang part na siya ng system ng mga social media.
Yes, boost ads, yeah.
Oo.
Okay.
Parang if your goal lang is to make sure that you are seen, just create so much that they can't ignore you.
Okay, track
Yeah.
your posts, metrics. Trends do you look for? Actually, yeah, marami na ngang features ang Facebook ngayon. Meron na silang publishing tool, meron pa silang business manager. So, it's a totally different talaga, tool than the usual if you want to go delve more into it. All right, I hope that answer your questions, Det. Now, let's move on. Meron pa bang question? Let me just check sa Facebook. Wala naman. Okay. So, let's move on to another question here, anonymously. Okay. Actually, I have a question. Let's just go back to that later on. But there's an interesting question here. Does creative writing work on all platforms?
What do you mean all platforms? Like Facebook?
Platforms. Yeah. So basically, when you concentrate on the context of creative writing, so siguro let me just rephrase this. I think siguro what works best with what kind of platforms or online platforms basically that work with creative writing. When is it best? Kasi actually may question ako dito with Elaine originally earlier, but for example, I have a scenario na ang mga online sellers naman, they won't care, 'di ba, about unless that's their interest din, 'di ba? So if that's the goal, if the goal is like selling, 'di ba? Parang yung mga apps like Lazada and pag doon ka magbebenta, you won't really care about naman punctuation sometimes and organization, right? So because your goal is just to sell, but the same thing, they still do online marketing, right? So here, um, maybe if you are in a business, then you happen to have skills in creative writing. What can you suggest that creative writing works best? Would you like to answer that, Christian? Kasi isip na siya.
Okay. So yung unang question na can creative writing work in all platforms? It can,
Yes.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
these platforms are rooted in content. Like with any like they'll have different metrics. They'll have different uh ways to measure. But it's all, you're all generating content. Sa LinkedIn, meron silang tinatawag na dwell time, which is basically kano ka katagal magtingin sa post mo. Pero to be able to achieve a high dwell time, for example, kailangan mag-copywriting ka. Sa Facebook, obviously, Facebook ads, kailangan mag-copywriting. Sa creative copywriting. Sa Lazada and Shopee, actually, yeah, minsan hindi mo kailangan ng punctuation, pero minsan, pag
Oo.
maganda lang yung format mo, may advantage ka na eh. Parang,
Mm-hmm.
ako namimili ako.
Okay.
Kapag ka magulo yung sinulat nung tao ron sa store, parang
Yeah.
okay, magdadalawang isip ako. Kasi nga, sabi nga ni Elaine, yung punctuations is a form of professionalism, and it's very
Yes.
true. Like, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So it can work in any platform. Pero I think what I think yung nakikita ko sa experience na nako-confuse at ng marami kong clients is they try all platforms. Like lahat, parang gusto mo present ka
Mm-hmm.
sa lahat. Gusto mo nasa Instagram ka, nasa
Mm-hmm.
Facebook ka, nasa LinkedIn ka, nasa Twitter ka, nandun ka sa lahat. Doon ka mahihirapan kasi each of these platforms require different approach. Pero it's still creative writing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I always suggest to the clients, and what I also do for myself, is just choose one or two platforms. And then become really good at it. So for example, sa project productivity, nasa LinkedIn at Facebook lang kami. Like you won't find us anywhere else. So and
Okay.
for me, kasi I want to be good at those two platforms. Pero I'm not gonna try Twitter. I'm not gonna try Instagram. So parang ganun siya. You want to like concentrate your effort into one or two platforms and give yourself time to improve and be good at it. But it can work anywhere. So yeah.
Okay. How about you, Elaine? Do you have something to say to that?
Maybe additional din sa sinabi ni Christian, kasi I agree no sa mga sinabi niya. Parang if you're also looking for the right platform for you, look at your products or what you're selling or marketing. Kasi kung puro ka images, no, pwede ka mag-IG, pero if you're more
Mhm.
words, yung mga ganon, mag-website ka, ganon. Tapos, creative writing can be used in any platform because actually copywriting is creative writing. Yun.
Mhm.
Parang kapag nagtingin ka sa job street, yung, tas ni-type mo doon, creative writer na jobs, ang lalabas puro copywriting na jobs. Kasi ang tawag
Yeah,
nila sa
oo.
mga
Bihirang-bihira
copywriters,
yung creative
creative
writer.
writer. Oo.
Kahit pag-send ng CV, may
Mm.
creative writing din yun.
True.
Oo.
Yes.
Element na siya. Actually,
Yeah.
more napansin ko sa mga job ads, it's more like a pang-attract ng mga may writing, yung pasok sa writing skills, 'di ba? Parang
Yes.
ganoon parang clickbait lumalabas eh. Anyway, we have another question from Jacqueline on Facebook. Galing ko sa Facebook. Okay, sorry. Okay lang bang magsulat ng Taglish since mas ito ang patok sa masa?
Alay. Ako na lang.
Okay, sige, Jonathan.
Wala naman. I don't think it would matter. Sabi ko nga kanina, your way with words depend on the kind of business you have. And it will, your way with words will determine the kind of business that you're running. Kung paano ka makipagsalamuha sa tao. And for example, Taglish. So, ibig sabihin parang easy to approach ka kasi gusto mo naiintindihan ka. It's okay. Sa Facebook, okay lang yan. Pero, if you're selling something na parang kunyari, if you're selling a financial product, if you're selling, ano pa ba, yung mga parang, if you're selling a franchise na isang business, I think, mas maganda siguro. Kasi, it would depend sa target market mo. You don't expect your target market ni-appreciate yung Taglish. Jejemon ka dyan. Pero,
Okay.
milyonaryo yung mga target market mo. Siyempre hindi.
Yeah.
Okay? Siyempre hindi. Pero kunwari, yung product mo is para pang masa. Like, mga app. Kunyari, games. Kunyari, yun ang binibenta mo. Or ang binibenta mo is pandesal. Okay lang. Okay lang yung Taglish. It's okay. Actually, nag-experiment ako dati. Dati, mahabang post. Walang nagbabasa, may nagko-comment. Ang haba kasi ng post mo, tapos masyadong English. Sabi ganyan. Tapos, sige, sinundan ko. Tapos nagtagalog ako. Then, na-realize ko, siguro hindi sila yung target market ko, kaya hindi nila na-appreciate. And then, I proceeded writing in English. Yan. And then, I'm writing in English kasi nga yung product na binibenta ko is appropriate na ma-deliver in English. Kasi mahirap kasi mag-Tagalog minsan kapag medyo yung terms is tsaka medyo
It's
professionalism.
too technical. Okay. Yeah. So that what you're saying is that really depends on the context na rin, no? Sa market, sa nature of business, or if you're like the parang casual business, okay lang naman. As long as it's relatable, di ba? Yun naman yung importante. So, how about you?
Sige, last.
Okay, go ahead.
Kunyari sa Shopee and sa Carousel, kunyari doon ka nagbebenta, alam, matutula-tula ka pa doon, di ba? So
Hindi
ito
ka
the point ka na.
papansinin.
Hanggang ganun. Depende rin.
Yeah, hindi ka papansinin. So, yeah, our target audience din naman have different goals when they're browsing, di ba? For example, kung talagang bibili sila, they would go to those kinds of apps na, no? Pabili ng bahay ng lupa, so mag-rent, di ba? Doon na pumupunta agad eh. So, anyway, let's go. Thank you for that, Jonathan. How about you guys? Do you have input in this question?
Sige. Okay. Parang for me, parang you can also look at your end goal. if you want to be international in the future, then you should use English. But if you want to stay in the
Okay.
Philippines, you use Taglish.
Mhm.
Mga
Yeah.
ganun.
Oo nga, kasi conversational din. Oo.
Yeah.
So that really depends. I actually tried, parang hindi naman ako nagsisell, but sometimes when I have a post, it's like a story. Mahaba siya actually. Pero it turned out na may nagbabasa kasi what matters yung nasa catchphrase mo sa taas eh, 'di ba? Parang mix naman siya. So, ewan ko rin sa mga tao, hindi ko rin sure bakit minsan may minsan nagte-trending, minsan hindi. So, hindi mo talaga masabi. So, trial and error pa rin in the end. So, anyway, I would just like also to add about yung earlier, nakalimutan ko lang sabihin, about sa platform, yung sinasabi mo, Christian, you focus on one, right? You mentioned that you should focus on one. May isang marketing agency din na nagsabi na what they do is when they focus on one tool to track the trends and everything, they close down everything else. So they can see the actual result kung talaga bang nag-work kapag dun lang lahat ng efforts nyo. So yun yung one tip, but if you're a business, this will be really very useful na na strategy. All right, so let's move on to another question. Anonymous again. It's when is creative writing inappropriate to use in one's marketing activities? Ayan. What do you think, guys? As both creative writers and marketers.
Sorry, ano
Can
uli
you
yung
Would you like
repeat
to
question?
start?
the
Yeah.
question?
Sorry, hindi ko
Pinaulit
narinig.
namin.
When is parang napaisip kayo, nag-lag ng konti. Okay, when is creative writing inappropriate to use in one's marketing activities?
Yung sinabi ni Jonas, yung magtutula-tula ka sa carousel.
So you have to match, no? Kung anong platform,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
At saka, I don't think kakasya rin, if ever. Kakasya ba?
I
How about
think
you, Christian?
inappropriate could mean a lot of things. Baka dito sa context na to is yung off ka, like off message ka, off key ka, no?
Mm-hmm.
Parang ganon. Like ang sa akin is yung hindi siya ganun eh na may times na inappropriate kasi it's like when you're writing you're always being creative, right? Like if you're gonna make a
Yeah.
post, like you always have to do some form of creative writing. It becomes inappropriate again yung sinasabi namin kanina when you write something that na hindi nag-resonate sa mga audience. So ngayon so kung ganun, parang kakabahan ka ba? Parang okay, ito magka-taglish ba ako, mahaba ba or maikli? Ang sinasabi ko palagi sa mga clients namin, sa mga teammates din namin, when in doubt, test it out. Like do a split test, do an A/B test. It only becomes really inappropriate when you have the intention of being inappropriate. Like if you're really going out there to offend a certain group, you're going out there like to say lies, to say something hurtful, then that's really inappropriate. And that's not creative writing anymore, diba? Like, that's your intention na on the copy. Pero, as long as you're writing to really engage to the audience and you're writing content that's relevant to them, I think it's never inappropriate, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So basically, like, go ahead.
Actually,
Go ahead,
parang
Elaine.
you have the freedom to be original or new, in creative writing. And yun nga, parang you can only be inappropriate if you are harming someone na, paano ba? Oo. Pero kasi social media and the world itself, it needs creative people. So, yeah, we have to be new.
Malay nyo, gumana yung tula-tula sa carousel tsaka sa Shopee.
Malay na.
Wala pang gumagawa nun.
Malay mo,
Di ba? So,
That's
malay nyo,
very
gumana yun.
original.
So,
And it's one of the points para to attract din naman, di ba?
yeah.
Like you said, Christian, you have to test it out.
Yeah.
Di ba? Okay, we have another question here from Det. Okay. Medyo hindi ko na-gets kasi privately pa din niya. Nakala ko sa ano. Okay, anyway, let's go back to that. Let's go back to what you said, Christian, earlier about engagement and conversion. Diba? So, it doesn't mean that you were able to engage, that you will be able to convert also, right?
Yeah.
So, parang how do you close the gap between, kasi an interesting keyword here is inspiration. Diba? You put a lot of, you got a lot of inspiration in to be able to engage, right? Sometimes yung inspiration doon bumubuhos pag nakipag-engage ka, di ba? And then all of a sudden, your conversion is like a flop, di ba?
Yeah.
So parang sira si inspiration doon. So how do you deal with this? How do you close that gap between conversion and engagement?
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Maganda yung sinabi mo na
gets mo ba?
how do you close the gap?
Oo.
Kasi ito marketing na to. So, I think
Oo.
everyone here knows the concept of marketing funnels, no? So, the way we teach marketing funnels is intent to audience matching. Kasi bawat level ng funnel, merong intent ang audience, no? If you're reaching out to someone cold, like, diba? Like, hindi mo siya kakilala, there's no way or there's a very, very, very low chance na magko-convert yan or they will get your service. So tama yung at the top of the funnel, ang sinasabi nila, you're looking to engage. Pero what should come after that, di ba? What's your follow-up sequence, di ba? Now that you've warmed this audience up, like, what are you going to do? So ano yung parang maliit na action na pwede nilang gamitin? So for example, if you're using events as your marketing funnel, then events, 'di ba? So sila they're really not quite sure whether to buy your service yet, pero they know you. They've engaged with you. So parang ikaw, you're nudging them a bit by showing your expertise. And ito, meron ng action na kailangan mangyari sa kanila. They have to attend this event. And then yun yung middle of the funnel. And then ano yung next? Which is once you're able to demonstrate your expertise, this person knows you, now you're ready to actually sell. Yun yung bottom of the funnel. And each of the stages of these funnels, iba-iba yung copy. Like iba-iba yung approach to creative writing. So you want to think of it as a system na it cascades down like as yung cycle nung user goes, no. So ikaw, if you have a lot of engagement pero no one is converting, baka may kulang pa ron sa funnel mo. Maybe you should create something for those people na nag-engage siya sa'yo. And iba na yun, mas intimate na yun, mas parang nagpe-present ka na talaga. So, ganoon namin siya laging iniisip.
Okay.
We're not expecting that if someone engages at the first interaction, they will buy. Kasi that's just not how it works. So,
All right. Thank you so much for that, Christian. How about the others? Do you have any comments on that?
I think, ano yung question mo? How to close the gap between yung...
Yung sa engagement and conversion.
Okay.
So, in terms of inspiration.
Okay, ano nga? Kasi tama ka nga sinabi mo kanina, hindi mo rin kasi mapipredict yung behavior ng tao eh. So, paano yung response nila dun sa sinulat mo? Ako, nagsasalita ako sa based on experience lang. So, minsan, okay, yung story ko tungkol sa sarili ko, ang daming likes, maraming visits sa website ko. Then isang araw, feeling ko ang ganda-ganda naman sinulat ko pero wala naman nagla-like. Hindi ko alam kung bakit.
Hindi mo tuloy alam kung relatable ba or what, no?
Sobrang binigay ko na lahat ng English ko dun eh. Pero parang nagla-like. So ano ba talagang gusto ng tao? So parang ano rin, you have to consider kasi yung time. Una yung time, tsaka syempre yung tao din. Usually kasi syempre kapag nasa gitna tayo ng isang kuya. Ngayon kasi kailangan din kasi nating maging aware din sa mga events na nangyayari. Like for example, ngayon may elections sa states. So minsan kasi yung mga tao, yung attention nila nandoon minsan. O kaya may laban sa sports. Minsan nandoon yung attention nila. So
yes.
Maghintay ka ng konti.
Kung yung fad.
Maghintay ka ng konti. Alam ko meron ka diyang sinulat na sobrang ganda. May sinulat ka dyan na prepare mo na. Hintay ka lang ng konti, wag mong isabay doon kasi mapapanis yan. And once na napanis yan, mahirap mo nang i-revive yan. Kasi once na na-publish mo na yan, anong gagawin mo? I-republish mo.
Wala na.
Parang
Reshared.
So maghintay ka lang. Timing.
So basically, sa saturated market ng audience, parang mahirap makipag-compete sa mga mainstream na trending ngayon. Okay. That's a good point. How about you, Elaine? Do you have anything to add to this?
Ano na yung question? Yung sorry, ulit lagi.
Okay
How
lang.
to close the gap?
Yeah, close the gap between engagement and conversion. So far sa experience mo as a kasi for you isang sobrang narrow na nung niche eh. Ang sinasabi ni Jonathan, it's like if you have a very broad niche, 'di ba? You have to narrow it down so or wag ka sumabay sa competition. How about in your part since napaka na nung niche mo, it's so focused and targeted na.
Mm.
So how do you still experience this? I mean, baka naman baka naman baka naman
Grabe.
ibang level na yun. Baka naman wala kang problema sa ganito, wala kang problema sa conversion. How about you have
Grabe.
I noticed din naman kasi na you have a lot of engagement in your page and your So how do you and lahat ba ng engagement na yon nagko-convert or or meron ka rin problems, struggle ka rin, hindi lang halata.
Siyempre may problems din ako. Pwede ba yun? Walang problema.
Sa marketing. Sa marketing ang pinag-usapan natin.
Parang for me kasi, eto, hindi ko alam kung ma-relate nyo to Kasi sa akin, importante ang tenacity or being tenacious. Kasi I didn't really stop. 2 years na ang Scribblory, pero I didn't really stop, posting, engaging, talking to people. And then, I think, when it comes to online marketing, hindi lang kasi siya nangyayari ang marketing kasi hindi lang siya nangyayari talaga ng online in the sense na
Correct.
Kapag na-experience ng tao yung service mo na okay, maganda, they will really look at your page and they will really, alam mo yun, naka-establish ka ng relationship with them. So, they will really engage dun sa page mo. So, it's all about establishing a relationship and maintaining that relationship. Yung ganun. So, yeah.
Okay.
And also,
So basically, okay.
Ayun, keeping a consistent atmosphere dun sa platform mo. For example, if you want it to be cozy or light, diba? Yun lang yung atmosphere niya. And it should be something na they will want to go back to. Light, parang masarap sa pakiramdam, babalik ako dito, ganun. Kasi whenever I'm sad or down, I want to go back to that. I'll go back to that page because it makes me good. It makes me feel good. Yun.
Okay. Well said. Thank you so much, Elaine, for that
you.
input. So, basically, you're saying, actually, nakalimutan ko na. Let's go to, let's just answer this question from Badet earlier that I withheld. So, ang sinasabi niya kasi is kahit ba off-key or sorts, basta it elicited enough violent reaction to make them click your website or product, effective kaya yon? Okay, who would like to answer this?
Ako.
Christian? Okay, Christian.
It will be effective in the short term. Pero if your objective is to build a long-lasting brand, which I think all businesses go to build a long-lasting brand, I would not recommend it as a strategy. Kasi like violence, like inciting violence and like enough violent reaction, that's so hard to sustain. Diba? So, and you always want to share something that has value, right? So,
Of course.
sabi nga yung podcast na pinapakinggan ko, parang it's easy to stand out in this world kapag yung extremist ka, and then you have like always controversial points of view. Pero the world is much more nuanced than that eh. Like ang daming like nangyayari, no? And kung hinahabol mo lang is napakaraming engagements, napakaraming clicks, gagana yung yung like violent reactions. Pero would it sustain like in the long run? So in my experience, not really, kasi you also burn yourself out. So yeah.
And basically, it's the same rule with SEO rin, di ba? Same rules in SEO apply. So may mga Google police din tayong tinatawag sa web content So parang meron din silang ganyan na parang restriction.
Yeah.
Di ba? Kumbaga hindi siya quality content or something.
Yeah. And if I may
You
add,
remember?
pwede ka naman maging controversial without like being offensive. Kasi being controversial means like you're taking a stance on something. Di ba? So, you can do that. Like you can
Sorry,
have your
medyo
points
nag-lag
of...
ka, Christian.
sorry. You can
Can
have
you
your
repeat that,
own...
Christian? Medyo nag-lag ka.
Pwede ka naman maging controversial without being offensive. Like you can like actually have your own point of view. Like without saying that your point of view is wrong, I'm right, and then you're dumb, you're stupid. So you can actually do that. And that requires creative writing.
So you're
Yeah.
referring basically to influencers na parang they stand out, they stand up for their opinions, 'di ba? May mga ganun tayong
Mm,
influencers, 'di ba? Okay,
yeah.
yeah. All right.
Mm.
So who else? How about you, Jonathan? Do you have something to say to this?
Si Elaine muna.
Kasi okay, Elaine muna. Walang turo tayo ngayon.
Actually, yung
Huwag niyo
argument
gaganyanin
and
yung mga ano natin eh.
persuasion, walang turo. Yung argument and persuasion is really part of the eight rhetorical patterns in creative writing. So
Mhm.
instead of saying that I'm making something controversial, you can just think that you are arguing or persuading someone to believe your view.
Mhm.
Ganun na lang. Meron akong isang kilala, meron akong
That's a
nakalala
good
na
point,
writer. Meron silang ginawang website na gumawa sila ng mga super kakaibang point of view. Hindi ko hindi ko maalala yung mga examples, pero sobrang kakaibang point of view na parang, hala, totoo ba yan? Napapaganon ka. Pero, hindi naman offensive. Parang ano lang, parang yung facts lang, tinitweak nila, tapos sinasabi lang, it could be. No, it could be true.
So creative writing 'yon, 'di ba? Kasi
Yes.
they are like ano lang different points of view of a character, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. All right. Meron pa ba tayong question? How about you, Jonathan? Sorry, akala mo makalimutan kita.
Akin kasi ayoko kasi yung gano'n. I mean, sa akin ayoko kasi people can be misled. Kasi minsan tao kasi browse lang yan eh. Kapag nakita nila yan, parang, uy, okay. Yun na yung news, hindi naman nila i-click eh. Minsan hindi na i-click. Minsan kasi may naririnig ako na fake news. Tapos naniniwala na sila agad. So, I think we have to be responsible ngayon na medyo hinay-hinay din sa ganong strategy. Kasi, hindi ko naman sinasabi na pero dito sa Pilipinas kasi minsan yung antas ng edukasyon na naabot ng audience natin, kailangan din nating we have to be responsible din. Kasi baka mamaya may maniwala, hindi sila mag-explore further. Okay, baka naman iba, minsan baka ma-misinterpret talaga ng ganun talaga and then kumalat. Ayan. So, ayan. I think.
Right,
I hope
thank you
karoon
so
ako
much.
ng point.
Mukha namang nagkaroon ka ng point. Thank you so much for that. So basically, you're saying personal responsibility na rin natin as marketer and writers, right? Our content developers. All right. So thank you so much. I think we don't have any more questions. Wala na ba? Wala ba akong na-miss? Mahirap palang maging host. Kasi maraming mismatch dito. Okay. Iba yung point of view ng audience kasi. Yeah. So that's good to know. All right. So I think that's all for the Q&A question. So kung wala nang hahabol guys, if you come up with questions later on na bigla nyo na panaginipan and then you want to ask Elaine, Christian, or Jonathan, you can always reach out to them through their social media and email. And I think their info was shown earlier if you made it early. But if not, you can always search for them. They're visible online. That's why they're our guests. All right. So, nalito na rin ako. So we're wrapping up. So, let's hear once again from our speakers, their parting messages and announcement. Let's start with you. Let's start with you, Jonathan. Sorry.
Right. Felisa, thank you very much for hosting tonight's Pesopad. You did great.
No problem.
Gumaan ang trabaho ko ngayong gabi. Parang gagawin ko ata ito, no? May host ako. Joke lang. Okay, so on behalf of Felisa, Elaine, and Christian, I would like to thank everyone for continuously supporting Pesopad Usapan. And let us continue sharing meaningful words and let us bring our audience to a world where love and positivity prevail. I'm Jonathan Francis Cabral. Please follow Pesopod on social media and pesopod.com.
Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. And next, Elaine, of course. Elaine, are you there?
I'd like
Di pa tayo babay. Mag-message ka pa.
I'd like to thank everyone as well for watching, for listening to us, and to Jonathan, Pesopod, for inviting us. Felz, Ate Felz, for for this wonderful hosting you're doing right now. And Christian, I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from everyone. Yeah. And for a final message, I very short lang sabihin ko. I really believe that words are powerful. It is very powerful. And so we should use our words well. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That's very deep. All right. Of course, you have Christian once again.
Yes. Thanks, JF, for inviting us here to share some of little of what we know. Thank you, Fel, for this amazing hosting. I know you've like worked really hard for this event. Just want to like acknowledge that effort. Thank you, rin, Elaine. Like I learned so much. Lalo na yung punctuality equals professionalism. I will say that to our copywriters. And thanks for everyone for lending us your time tonight. Final words. When it comes to like creativity and copywriting, like instead of relying on willpower and waiting for inspiration to come, you can actually be proactive and find a system that works for you. Yung PDF na shinare ko, it's just one system, it's just one framework. There's so many that you could use. So, yan.
All right. Thank you so much, Christian. So, before we officially end, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Pesapod.com for initiating this project and inviting me to be their host tonight. And my warmest gratitude to Scribblory and Project, sabi ko na naman Pesapod, Project Productivity, wag ka magtampo. Project Productivity for saying yes to this project and collaborating with us. Okay, so and of course, most of all, thank you so much to our audience for sharing their dinner time with us tonight and for for the input in the discussion. So once again, this is Felz Etorne of Metacognia and have a pleasant evening. Bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.